somnis spiritum vocant.
Stop, wait, what's going on? This is a devil chant.
The world is consumed with darkness at every path. So, tonight, we take on our own.
I don't understand. What kind of Bible study is this?
Ladies, it's time we take our sins to the next level.
Hello everyone, the December Review here, back again with a movie review. Today, we have the recently released horror title, The Sinners. The film was originally titled The Color Rose, and it premiered at the Mammoth Film Festival way back in March 2020. This weekend, the film finally managed a video-on-demand release, and here are TDR's thoughts on the film.
Don't you want to be bad for once in your life?
The plot centers around a group of high school friends in a small and deeply religious small town. They are dubbed the Sins, as each one of the 7 characters embody the traits of one of the deadly sins. When Aubrey, one of the group's members, is found to have told some of their secrets in confession, the group's leader, Grace Carver, decides to round up the clique for a meeting designed to scare Aubrey enough to never speak about them ever again. Things get a bit out of control as Aubrey goes missing, and the members of the Sins start disappearing one by one.
Once people started calling us the Sins, everything changed.
For horror fans, there is a good amount to enjoy with The Sinners. The film wears its influences on its sleeve with some obvious nods to some classic clique tales of years past. There's a bit of The Craft in here, mixed with some Heathers, Mean Girls, and a dash of Seven. There is also a few nods to Quentin Tarantino's camera work. Yes, the comparisons are obvious, but to declare The Sinners as just a carbon copy would be a big disservice to the story being told here. The film starts off with narration by Aubrey, who introduces us to the clique and gives the audience a hint of the ending. We meet each member and their assigned sin. They meet daily in the bathroom and must give each other a compliment before first class. We also meet some of the town's other inhabitants, like Grace's father, Dean, who is also the town's pastor, and Sheriff Fred Middleton. The religious tones ring through every step of this town, as they take their faith very seriously. To the clique, though, the disillusionment of religion plays a key role in their behavior. They lash out at others, but mainly stick close together. Grace is shown early to have broken off a relationship with her sort of boyfriend who isn't taking the news that great. She also was drawn to one of the Sins members, Tori, and has taken up a friendship with another group who associate themselves in the dark side of the occult. Once Aubrey is found to have spoken about the group in confession, the other members steal her diary and perform an evening of pretty severe bullying in order to scare her enough to never speak out again. Things go even further soon after, as the group ends up kidnapping her and taking her to a remote location. After some violence, they quickly figure out that things have gone way too far, but alas, Aubrey has gone missing. After attempting to find her to no avail, the group goes home. The next day in school, each one is questioned about her whereabouts. Well, the group sticks together in denying any knowledge, but it doesn't take long until one of them is murdered, setting off the chain of events for the rest of the film. The first 30 minutes or so does a great job of setting up the pieces of the town, and when Aubrey goes missing, the film kicks into overdrive in its mystery. The Sins start to get taken out in rapid speed, each one being kidnapped, alone, and tortured in a specific way to match the sin associated with them. It's a clever device that works well. It's also where the original title of the movie comes into play, as each new body is discovered with a different colored rose. The movie eventually becomes a murder mystery story. There are a slew of red herrings thrown our way. I'm talking about 6 different people I figured could be involved. We do see the mass killer early on, so we have an outline of who is doing this before the big reveal. This is one of the film's strengths, as I found myself trying to guess the multiple outcomes. And there's a nice cross storyline with the sheriff as well, as him and his wife are trying to start a family. Alongside with his assistant, the sheriff role is played with just enough authority and slight comic relief to be someone to root for. I won't speak much more on any of the plot points, as it's best to watch things unfold for yourself. The acting is strong overall, as Grace takes on most of the heavy lifting here. She goes from rebellious to angry to vengeful and remorseful throughout the proceedings. Tori is also played very well with a bit more of mystery around her. Keep an eye out for a quick French fry one-liner. The rest of the sins don't get fleshed out, no pun intended, as well, but the setup is done well enough that by the time they start getting picked off, we do have a sense of them. The same goes for the rest of the town. Grace's family are heavily invested in their religion, praying that Grace will settle down and join them. They are seemingly blind to the outside world, as when her dad asked her where she got her outfit from, Grace deadpanned reply, "The mall." It's a small moment, but there are just enough of those Heather-esque quips sprinkled in to elevate the story. The film is directed very well by Courtney Page, who is obviously a fan of the genre. The extra details are noticeable and they add to the tension of the story. The soundtrack is also excellent with multiple songs throughout that I enjoyed.
You and your little posse are parading around school calling yourselves the 7 Deadly Sins?
Like with any low-budget horror tale, there are some minor nitpicking that could be done. The tropes are the tropes, and here it's no different. Towards the end of the film, 2 new cast members arrive, then go away just as quickly. They are here for 2 very specific reasons: to help set up the sheriff's characterization and to perform a major plot push. They do both very well, but it was a bit out of left field at this point in the film. I admired the sheriff even more during this scenario, so it was effective. I feel that if they were hinted on during the setup, though, it wouldn't have been as distracting once they arrived. Which makes me want to bring up the editing of the film. Clocking in at about an hour and a half, pushing things out another 20 minutes couldn't have hurt. I could be wrong, but it seems like there were some things taken out, and at times it seemed obvious and a tad disjointed. For instance, there's a moment once Aubrey has disappeared, the 7 sins are etched into a school desk. The act alone works well, but the way the moment is set up feels like something is missing. Same goes for the quick nature on how the click are taken out. It's rapid speed for a while, and I feel like there was more to tell during these moments. Same goes for the cult members, who are only relegated to some minor scenes. It felt as if they were being set up for more, but once one plot point was over with, they exited stage left. Along those lines, I am a bit surprised that the town didn't go into full lockdown mode, especially after the second murder. Grace and Tori were allowed to just wander around on their own at night. Well, that seemed a bit risky.
Growing up in a religious town like ours, sins were dreaded, even feared.
Overall, The Sinners is a solid low-budget mystery film. It is acted and directed very well, and the soundtrack is noteworthy. I enjoyed trying to figure out the ending, and the reveal itself didn't disappoint. The film dives into some deeper meanings at times on faith, rebellion, and how family can react in times of need. There are some pretty poignant moments, especially as the town starts to come to grips with its situation. Yes, there are some obvious nods to other films, but to disregard The Sinners would be a mistake, as it has its own story to tell in its own way. The film is currently out to rent on all your favorite streaming sites. I recommend giving this film a watch, and I give The Sinners 3.5 stars out of 5. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more, and let me know your thoughts on the film in the comments section below.
Stop! I'm going insane.